Why decide to write a book titled Contagion Myth?
Through understanding the history of contagion, we understand really how we got to the present day. But then I had an experience that I would say changed my life.
What are your thoughts with COVID and coronavirus? Are you someone that trusts taking a vaccine, or there's no way in the world you're going to touch a vaccine?
All of the tests are meaningless. All of the numbers are meaningless. There is no possible way that COVID-19 is caused by this coronavirus.
How do I get sick? I can't give my germ to somebody else. Is that kind of what you're saying?
No, that is not what I'm saying. What it proves is you can't give sickness to somebody else.
A little bit complicated, but I'm trying to up my intelligence, so keep going.
If you look at a cookbook from 1920, butter, lard, and eggs. Nobody had heart attacks. So we're thinking one person is sick, another person gets sick, there must be something spread. And that observation is what's called epidemiological observation. Now, I just want to point out something here, that this contagion theory was applied to the following disease. There was a bunch of sailors who got sick, and one sailor after another got sick, and their teeth fell out, and then they went into heart failure and died. And this happened into thousands and thousands of people. And it was usually one ship after another. And for 100 years, they said this must be contagious. And then somebody ate a lime and the whole thing went away because it turns out it was scurvy. And the reason I point that out is epidemiological observations, like this person got sick and then somebody else got sick, is well accepted in medicine. That is not how we prove causation. And you hear this now all the time. Well, a lot of people in one place got sick, so it must be a virus. Well, they blew a bomb off in Hiroshima. A lot of people got sick and nobody thinks that was a virus. Or they'll say, if it spreads from one place to another, that proves it's a virus. So I'm sure you remember Chernobyl. There was a nuclear accident. A lot of people died. It started spreading into Eastern Europe and then Western Europe. A lot of people got sick. And as far as I can tell, that's no evidence that that was a virus. In other words, the idea that a lot of people in Iran or Turkey or Spain or the nursing home or the cruise ship or the whatever got sick, my Aunt Bessie went to a party, those are epidemiological observations, the purpose of which is to generate theories which can be tested for causation, period. And I would agree 100% that we had enough evidence with contagion that we should investigate for an infectious cause or an unseen agent. Now, that's what Louis Pasteur famously did. He said, there's all these people, and in fact, what he used was the case of sheep and said, there's all these sheep getting sick, one sheep after another. Sometimes the people who were handling the sheep got sick. So there must be something that's passed. They then had invented the microscope. So the first eureka moment in history then is they could see this bacteria under the microscope. And they saw the bacteria in the sheep, and they saw it in the next sheep who got sick. End of story. That's what caused the sheep to get sick, called anthrax. But here's what happened then. Pasteur isolated the anthrax bacteria from the sheep, right? So he took them out, and he gave them to other sheep, and none of them got sick. None of the people got sick. Now, here's the way I think people should understand this. Imagine you have a cow, and you don't feed the cow proper food, which is grass, right? You feed it cardboard and dead cow parts and you soak it in glyphosate and tick poisons, etc. All that stuff comes out in the milk. Now, then somebody drinks the milk and gets sick. That's contagion, right? And then you look in the milk and you see a bacteria called Listeria. And you say, okay, that may be the causative agent. And then you look in the stool of the person and they also have Listeria. End of story. And so the Listeria, you drank Listeria, it made you sick. Now, unfortunately though, or maybe fortunately, there's another explanation for that, which is The cow was sick. The milk, the poisons went into the milk. The role of bacteria in nature is to biodegrade poisons, right? If you have a compost pile and you put dead squirrels in it, you'll get bacteria to eat the squirrels. If you have a pond and you put poisons in it, you get algae growth that eat the poisons. If you have a forest and you cut the trees down, the algae and the fungus and the bacteria eat the dead trees. That's called biology. That's called bioremediation. So how do you know that the listeria isn't there to digest the poisons in the milk? So we have two very clear explanations for what may have happened, right? It's either the bacteria or it's the poison, and the bacteria are not causing anything. They're just helping you out by eating the poisons, as they do in nature. Now, what I tell people is this is what Pasteur and his colleagues did for 40 years, because there is a very simple way to sort this out. All you have to do is isolate the listeria from the milk, right? You can't give them all the milk because then you don't know if the poison's in it. Isolate the listeria, give that to a bunch of animals, see what happens. That's what they did for 40 years. And as far as I can tell from the medical literature, no animal or person gets sick.